Hello, all, and welcome back to a new episode of TV and Us, a conversation show about the TV series we just can't stop talking about. My name is Jennifer Hahn.
And I'm Sarah Callan.
And each season, we focus on a different show, reviewing it episode by episode, and we invite you to watch along with us. Right now, we're reviewing The Sopranos Season 2. Today, we are on episode 3 titled Toodle Fucking Ooh, and we are joined by a very special guest. He's been on TV and Us to talk about True Detective. He's been on Movies and Us, our other podcast, where we discuss films a whole bunch of times. Probably all are familiar with Philip. But Philip, do you want to introduce yourself? Welcome.
Hey, everybody. So I was just thinking, the last time I did a Movies and Us, you said something similar, and I was going back through my head. For the last, 4 or 5 years, I've been trying to be a semi-regular guest on shows because it's fun. I have to do less work and still get to put stuff out there and have it on my resume, stuff that I can share, especially when it's with people I like, talking about something that's fun. But man, we've been DMing. If I make half of the episodes of The Sopranos that we talked about me guesting on, you guys will go from, I think you're probably one of my top 3 to being my absolute number 1 show that I've guested on if we keep doing this, because this show's my favorite. We talked about it, I think, before you guys started doing this. And then I was like, okay, I don't want to overextend myself or overstay my welcome here, but if you have me, there's so many good episodes. And then when I remembered, obviously, the title and the titular scene, I'm excited to talk about that. But then when I saw this is Richie's first episode, so much good stuff here. So happy to be here for this is technically, in a way, my proper TV and Us debut, because I think I did the aftermath of the True Detective Alaska season.
Yeah.
So we didn't cover an episode. It was general. That was weird. What do we make of it? Phil, come join us.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I remember you had strong opinions on that one. And we were like, well, let's just hop on and talk about that season as a whole. But this one we get to dive into an episode. You get to pick and give out some TV and Us awards later. So that's new.
I'm excited.
Yeah, lots of good stuff there. But yeah, this is a show that I know is near and dear to you. So you picked a great episode to come on for. This is
I'm very, very excited.
Juicy.
It's so funny. Isn't this such a funny show?
Yeah. Hilarious.
That's honestly what surprised me, though. I'm continually surprised at how hilarious The Sopranos is, because I wouldn't have thought that a show about a mob family would be this funny, but I'm constantly cracking up while watching.
Yeah.
David Chase and his room are just friggin'
so good.
Just heaters nonstop.
Yep. So we're excited to talk about this very juicy episode. If you haven't watched the episode yet, this is your spoiler alert. So we're diving fully in. It's hard to talk about this episode without not talking about the plot points. So Sarah, do you want to give us a quick summary for this 3rd episode of season 2?
With ex-con Richie Aprile back on the streets and Meadow throwing an unsupervised house party, Tony struggles to keep order at home and in the crew.
He does. I love that it says that Richie's back on the streets. So just out stalking the streets, causing some chaos.
Which he was indeed.
Yep, as one does.
Successfully did. Yeah, 10 years in the hole, and you're out, you're coming for people. Our episode titles in TV and Us tradition. Philip, as our guest, what is your episode title of choice for this episode?
Alternate episode, the original title, very, very good. Which very good. I was like, okay, if I can make it, it's not as quite as explosive as some of the others, but it's a good one.
Yeah.
But my alternate title for this is Everybody Hates Richie, parenthesis, except Junior.
So good.
Solid.
Oh yeah, Junior's very pleased with Richie, I think, after this episode. Great. That's awesome. Sarah, what is yours?
Mine is Independent Thought and Behavior.
Yep. My episode title is Old School.
That's very good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, let's dive in. There is so much to talk about. Philip, I'm curious for you, having seen this show in its entirety in the past and now rewatching this episode and kind of revisiting it again, are there new things that really stood out to you or that kind of stuck with you longer this time around with the many things that happened in this episode?
Um, I mean, I think we talked. I'm trying to remember the series of events with us and our public podcasts and some of the stuff we've done in DMs. Like, maybe it was when you were on my show. I talked about. I've seen a series a few times. I'm currently on a rewatch, almost done with season 3, but then going back to looking at the wikis and then watching this episode a few times. I would just say, I mean, Sarah and I just mentioned it. Like, the
Yeah.
thing that for me this time around, like, there were always really good lines, but this being in my mid 30s, going back through it, it's been a few years since I've seen it. Actually, it's been several years since I've seen it. I watched it a bunch in college and then right after, but just how funny it is, how incisive it is, and how much like, it is a mob show, but it is also
Mhm.
kind of about everything. Like, it is about the, the fall of the American empire, it's about family, it's about, like, the psychology of, like,
Yeah.
people who want to get better but can't get better, like, do we get better? Like, all of that stuff, but the biggest thing is just how funny it is, and it's funny because it's written really great, but it's also funny because of how human it is.
Mm. So good. Yeah, I think that's something that's really surprising and impressive and how quick and fast the humor is too. Like we don't get the long dwell to let a joke hang in the air. It's just a character being so fully them in all of the ways that we've now gotten to know them to be as
Well,
well.
because it's not really even jokes.
Right.
It's just other than I can't wait till we get to it. In the titular scene where Paulie makes the joke on Sil and then like Sal and then repeats it again, which is one of my favorite things. Paulie saying something that amuses himself and then repeating it to like try to get more of a laugh. But I mean, other than that, people don't make jokes. It's just such good writing and
Yeah.
really hilarious responses to both like mundane stuff and kind of absurd mob type stuff, if that
Mhm.
exists.
Mhm. Yes, yes. Everyone is authentically themselves and they're colliding with each other in these really fun ways, which is it's fast, it's quick. I love that we aren't, as the audience, we are trusted to know and get when something is funny and that the show doesn't have to over explain to us or give it to us in a silver platter, which I feel like sometimes when the writing is done poorly, it's just like, we're gonna be funny now. It's gonna be
Yeah,
funny.
there's none of
Laugh.
that,
And you're like,
thankfully.
yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
mean, I guess I'd also say I was just thinking of this when you're saying that, like, for better and worse, and I'm really striving to be like an evolved, healthy person, just like how much I can and do relate to Tony. Like, just
mm,
the way of thinking, like, growing up in an Italian American house and just, like, all the
yeah,
stuff he says and is struggling with and, like, some of the older people talking about, like, how you do things old school, like, just that's the way a lot of people were raised, and I'm sure a lot of people from,
mm,
like, immigrant families and communities were like, "This is how, like, we survive. This is, like, our own
yeah,
codes and rules and things like that." But then also Tony trying to pull himself. Hopefully, I'm doing better. But like I
yeah.
see, like at the very, I don't know if we want to get into it yet.
Let's do it.
Um, like
Yeah,
right at the
go for
beginning,
it.
his response to Meadow, like I get it. But then when he's talking with Carmela, she says, "What do you say?" He says, "I don't know. I yelled. What else am I gonna do?" Like I felt that. I felt that as a parent because
Yeah.
sometimes it's like I don't know. I don't like. I'm not gonna hit this kid. I'm not gonna like. You can't really punish him all that much, and not like in the whiny way. I thought that the writing was a little bit much when they're like, "Oh, like you can't discipline a child anymore." But I'm going like, "What am I gonna do?"
Yeah.
Like, I felt that as as an Italian American and as a parent who's
Yeah.
trying not to be a yeller. Man, I'm trying.
Yeah, yeah. And you see so much of that frustration for both him and Carmela comes from this place of like feeling helpless and powerless. Like what do you do with a teenage child that has so much conviction and you are flailing too and you don't know how what's right and what's not right to do. And it's so it's such an interesting contrast because Tony is so competent, in control, knows exactly what to do when it comes to running his crew and running his businesses. But some of the soft, squishy stuff at home, he's kind of lost in and flailing and trying to figure it out. And I feel like there's something so human about him not being this incredibly powerful, perfect character in every realm of his life. Like everything is kind of being held together barely, and he's trying his best, and we really feel like he's trying.
Well, he is trying, which is what makes it so interesting. Like his dad
Yeah.
and his mother like used to run the home the way that they're running their crews.
Yep.
And he's like, obviously, like that's not any. And Tony's in therapy. He's having these conversations with Carmilla. He's not quite where Janice is, which I can't wait to talk about that. But like, he's trying and having a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that helps us be so empathetic with this character too, because we see him trying his best. We might not know what it is like to be running the mob, but we know what it's like to be like living today and just trying our best and not knowing what in the world we're doing, but we want to do a little bit better than, the generation before. And so we're just trying our best. So it's this weird, like, man, I feel a lot of empathy for Tony Soprano, which I never expected to feel.
Mm-hmm.
He's just trying his best.
Yeah, he really is. Well, we should talk about Richie. I think his arrival is so fun and so thrilling. I mean, truly like an agent of chaos that has descended upon this world. But I think one of the things that's really fascinating about him, which I alluded to in my episode title, is that he represents an older way of doing things, and times have changed. And you see his inability, understandably so, to adjust to and understand the new state of the world, and the loss of his position, the loss of the respect that he previously had, and watching the younger kids that are one generation below him run this business and speak to him that way. Like, I think it could be easy for him to be the villain of the story and the foe for Tony, but I don't know. We're so empathetic to him as well, of like, yo, what changed? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know, Jen.
I'm
usually
not
I'm on the
sure.
same page. You and I are usually on the same page, empathizing with
the terrible
criminals,
people.
but I don't know about this guy. Richie can go take a walk.
Yeah, I didn't feel that much empathy for Richie either. I'm here
Zero.
for it because he's an agent of chaos, but I'm also like, I don't feel
No,
empathy for you,
it's
my dude.
phenomenal drama. And if he would have just been a little bit different, I want to go back to the previous scene right before, because it kind of actually ties into the themes of what you're saying. I wrote down so many quotes. I don't necessarily want to do them all, but so Tony and Carmela are in the kitchen talking like, what are we going to do about Meadow? And Janice is there arguing with Tony, being like, she's becoming a woman. You're having less control. Your ego, da 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 da. And Janice says, there's a Zuni saying, for every 20 wrongs a child does, ignore 19. Tony retorts, there's an old Italian saying, you fuck up once, you lose 2 teeth. And like, I feel that. I was never like, in this, my wife and I have this conversation semi-regularly. I don't feel like I was like abused as a child or anything, but like I was smacked in the mouth by people I loved, and I'm like, no, I deserve that. But I was also a child and I didn't deserve that also. So like, I get it. I get it. And I have empathy and I feel both sides of that thing. And Richie is that to like the nth degree, with no self-awareness or any care for anybody but himself.
Right.
He's like, you F up once in a way that was never told you that you didn't too, and I run you over with a car. That's very different.
Brutal. Yeah. It's not good. It's not very good. But okay. Empathy, not maybe strong, but I think he's not a villain. He's human. He represents an older generation that doesn't know how to,
more. Yes. He should have done it absolutely different. Like when he goes to Beansy the first time, and Beansy's trying, like he kisses him on the cheek and says, hey, like I've been asking about you, like, and then it goes not from like, how can we come to an agreement, to like, you're now under me. And he's like, I'm not though, actually. And Richie just can't handle that.
Yeah. I think it's like similarly in a lot of immigrant households, that respect for authority and your elders and the older generation, the
very old school.
Very old school. And understandable when that's not received well and that's not how things are done anymore. That like shifting beneath his feet is hard for him to swallow. And a lot of times when you see him speaking to people, what he's most irked by is not that he's losing his businesses and positions, that's part of it, but it's the lack of respect that he feels like he's been given. The
And
way
that
that
things aren't being done in the correct manner. Like when he
exactly.
talks to Christopher insanely after smashing Beansy in the face with a coffee pot and beating the heck out of him on the floor, he's like, hey, by the way, like, if you want to beat my niece, you better marry her. Like, what?
That was
What
so
was that like as a woman in the 21st century watching that
so
scene?
bad. Christopher's like, okay, got it. And you're like, no, please come back. Please come back.
The
You're right.
roller coaster that I went on in that moment when he's like, "Hey, don't hit her." I was like, "Whoa, Richie, am I going to be on your
You're like,
team?
my
Is this going
guy.
to be my guy? I'm so excited unless you marry her." And I was like, "No, no, 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 no. Richie, this is not what we're doing here, my guy."
And then he says,
Oh man.
you only can raise your hand to her if you give her your last name.
Yeah.
Then it's none of my business.
Yeah.
You're like, woof.
Buddy,
Like,
this
I
is
like
bad.
a guy with the code, but this is a very flawed code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Chris walks away and he's like, oh, good kid. Like, part of the old school was like being a dick.
Yeah.
Like, that was part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another like small choice that I love that like really reinforces this like Richie being old school thing is the costuming. And there's that one scene in particular when he's meeting Tony in the mall. I think it's the first mall scene. And Richie is wearing these like blue, almost like periwinkle looking pants that look straight out of the 70s. And so I love that he looks so out of place in this mall talking to Tony, who is dressed, you know, in the modern style. And so I think that that just helps to like reinforce visually that he really is a man that's old school, that's out of time. You know, he doesn't know what it's like to be living in this time frame because he's been in prison for 10 years. So I thought that the costuming was such a smart intentional way to like reinforce that, like, hey, Richie's a little out of touch right now.
Man,
His
give me that
mind is
outfit though.
literally frozen in time. He's been out of society and seeing he's not been able to go through the slow evolution of the culture changes and the new codes that have existed because it's been 10 years. So much has happened in 10 years. He's, you know, and I think he's experienced the shock and dealing with it very terribly, but it's coming from that like utter shock of like I want to go back to the way things were, but I can't. And so now I'm going to lash out at literally everybody around me.
Which again, it's how he goes about it because
Yeah.
obviously no spoilers, but like from the pilot, that's Tony's whole dilemma of
Yeah.
like, I feel like I missed out on the golden age. Things are changing and I'm not quite sure how to adapt.
Yeah.
Man, it feels like the old ways were better, but here we are.
Yeah.
So like they're so similar, but different. And we see through like 3 or 4 different encounters that Tony and Richie have just in this one episode that this is going to be a thing going forward for as long as Richie's on this mortal coil.
Well, and I think another fascinating choice that Richie makes, and part of his like adhering to the old school way of doing this, is he pledges his loyalty to Junior, and is essentially even like, "I'm yours. You know, tell me what to do. I will do it," to secure his position. So there's a deference for the established order, the established hierarchy that he still chooses to respect.
Totally.
At the cost of his nephew. So there's that, or his, you know, like nephew in the family, essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that that's a fascinating choice, and it's a great card for now Junior to play, who was kind of like shit out of luck for a while, but he's got more
Good
games to
drama.
play now. Yeah, yeah.
So in season 2, like Tony like installed Junior as the boss, but he was going to be it anyway. But then Junior went to prison, and then Tony was kind of for real. Is that kind of where we are right now?
Yeah. So Junior was in
And like the
prison.
zoomed
Tony didn't
out.
realize he was gonna get out. Yeah. Tony essentially said to one of Junior's like henchmen, like, "I'm gonna run all the businesses I'll give Junior a little bit, but like for all intents and purposes, like I'm gonna be collecting, keep him as boss, give him the title, but like I'm running this thing. And I think on the streets, he's kind of seen as the de facto current head, but
Which Ricky loves, right? When he goes to talk business
yeah.
and Sal gets tapped in.
Yeah, yeah. He just gets up and is like, I can't do this right now. Go meet me at the
Well,
mall.
the specifics, because of the legalities,
Yes.
Richie says something specific and he goes, "Oh, Sal," and then he just gets up.
And once again, Richie codes that as a sign of disrespect. Like, how dare you walk away from me? As if I smell, I think he says later, as if I have a stench. Like, don't you dare walk away from me when I'm talking to you.
Okay, and then after that, we get to the titular Toodaloo scene.
The Toodaloo. Honestly, this is a great episode title from The Sopranos.
Uh,
I think Dr. Melfi needs to get a new therapist. First of all,
gosh.
that man is
Yes.
not helping her at all.
No.
But yeah, thoughts about the Melfi Tony situation relationship at this point. Nothing surprising, but a lot is coming to the surface far
Yeah,
more
Jen,
than
Sarah, I want to hear. I mean, I'll chime in at the end, but what did you guys think of that?
The discomfort and anxiety in my body for that entire scene. I was just like,
Oh,
why aren't
man.
you continuing to just walk past? Like, what are you doing? Why are you engaging with this patient who you like 2 episodes ago were like, get out of my life?
She's got a
And
little
now you're
crush on him.
talking to him? Ma'am, I need you to just keep it moving. They
But
don't exist.
it's so
Keep going.
cringy, and it is uncomfortable because she's a grown woman basically with like a crush or a fascination with this guy who,
Yeah.
like, she does want to help professionally, and maybe it's a weird Italian, like, it's hard sometimes to explain to non-Italians how some of these things go and feel, but I feel like that's a part of it, and David Chase knows what that is. But no, just watching her be giddy and weird and like kind of devolve into being very like girly and not know, like, got a little wine drunk and she's like toodaloo.
So
Oh, it's so good.
good. I think as a woman watching that, like it's so relatable. Like there's just things that you replay. You see Dr. Melfi afterwards replaying, like, why did I say that? Like so dumb. And you see that she calls herself a ditzy schoolgirl, and like that's so real. You're just like, something came over me. I don't know what happened, but like now I can't take it back, and I'm feeling like residual embarrassment for days. I need to talk to my therapist about it. That is so real. But I love specifically the way that the writers wrote that too, because we know professional Dr. Melfi, the Dr. Melfi that we've seen so far, would never say toodaloo in her vocabulary. So just the fact that they wove that in, they played it up more with the episode title, just some genius stuff, because that is not in her vocabulary. But you know, a little
Well, and
wine
then the
drunk.
male conversation after they leave.
Oh, so bad. Oh my god, yeah.
I wrote it down. I don't know what we can say on your podcast, but I cracked up, especially because of the tag at the end. And forgive me, but she
Yeah.
had some nice pipe fitter lips. ... No disrespect.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
And I think Paulie
And
then
he
takes a
said with a
jab.
completely straight face.
Yeah, yeah. He genuinely believes, like, no disrespect. No, really, I'm not trying to be rude.
Oh my gosh!
The twisted ideologies of these men. Well, I love that you see them just like bro out together. Like I think it's Polly or Sal. Like someone takes a jab at someone to be like,
Oh, that
see
was
this first.
Paulie,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
he's like, "Hey, did you remember your first? How long did it take the guy?" And I just thought that's kind of a funny joke. And then he repeats it, which is like
Yeah.
one of my favorite like Paulie isms. So he goes, "Hee, did you hear what I said?"
Yeah. He's like the grandpa at the party that's like, wasn't that so funny what I said? Wasn't
And
that
the
so
thing
funny?
is
It's
like
funny,
it's
right?
so childish. It's probably homophobic, but
Yeah.
it's also a little bit funny. Hey, you remember your first? How long did it take the guy?
Yeah.
It's hard not to laugh at that.
Yeah. This scene reminded me so much, and Philip, I know you'll appreciate this. The Goodfellas scene with Pesci and like, aren't I so funny? With they're sitting at like a spot that it's almost like similarly with the red lighting, and they're out at dinner, and they're also just being,
Dinner and Italians. That's when it
big and
happens.
ridiculous. It felt very Goodfellas coded with them just like shooting the shit together. They're not the like Francis Ford Coppola mafia men. They're just dudes throwing out
They
together,
are that.
being immature and dumb together.
And then it transitions right after that to,
No,
for me, maybe the cringiest part was that stand up at the Bing just bombing.
so bad. They're like, cut it. Let's bring out the girls. And you're like, oh my God. Jeez.
Yeah, what a welcome back party. Like, let's listen to this really terrible stand-up person. Oh God, that was awful.
Also, what a terrible job. Hey,
Yeah.
do you want to come to a mafia-run strip club to try to make them laugh after someone gets out of jail? I'd be like, no.
Oh.
I'd like to continue to be alive, please.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh man. Oh man. Okay, other big things that happened this episode. Janice, we gotta talk about Janice. Gotta talk about Livia. Sarah, would you like to talk about Livia? One of your favorite characters.
Okay, as a listener and a friend,
Uh-huh.
I've been loving Sarah's Olivia journey. I just want to say I'm here for it.
She is just a gem.
So good.
Okay, she's a terrible person. If I was part of this family, I would also be having issues with her. But as an outside, impartial observer that's just watching the chaos, I love Livia. She's great. Anytime we get a Livia scene, I get so excited. She is on one today again in this episode. And I loved when Richie comes and she is just not having any of it. And then Janice comes and then she's like, "Oh no. I'm going to try and manipulate you using Richie. Okay,
Yeah, now I'm
let's
on
have
his
some
side.
fun."
Yeah.
Oh, so great.
Yeah. Yeah. She's playing so many sides all the time. I think what's most interesting to me now in the Olivia scenes is watching Olivia and Janice both work their game on each other and try and out manipulate the other. I think that's so fascinating because Janice is one of the characters that I think is like can go up against some of the schemes that Livia's been deploying that like everyone else is just believing and buying, minus maybe getting Carmela's onto her, but
It's hard to say. Like they can, even if they see it, what are you gonna do? Like berate this little old lady? Like it's hard. It's like armor, especially this little old
Janice calls
sick
it
lady in
out.
the hospital.
You know, Livia's like, "Oh, just take me on." Janice is like, "You've said that every day." Like
She
you
says
keep
that in
saying
most
that, Mom.
episodes. I wish the good Lord would take me. I feel like it's probably like they just copied and pasted that in their script for like nearly every episode. Like that's in her contract.
Yeah.
And it's funny every time because she's just so melodramatic about it and just like, "Oh, I wish that the Lord would just take me." And it's
Take
like,
me
"Oh,
now."
Olivia, we know what you're doing."
Okay, right after that, another one of my hardest laughs in this episode. She's talking to Richie, and he's like, "Ah, blah blah blah," and then they talk about somebody, one of Richie's relatives. And Olivia's like, "How is he?" And he's like, "Oh, he died." And she said, "How did he die?" He said, "He had cancer." And the little old lady in the bed next to her says, "Me too."
So good.
And she's like, "Can you close that curtain?" Like,
I said, "Close
oh,
the curtain."
that took me out. And she's like, "Oh, me too."
Oh man. Oh, so good. So
Like
good.
that's not like that is a joke, but it's not like, it's so friggin'
Oh,
funny. Every
yeah,
episode
genius.
has like multiple very big laughs.
This was a particularly good one too. I feel like it was just hit after hit in this episode. Okay. Other major things.
It's a minor thing. I would love to
Yeah,
encourage you guys to keep an eye out for, because this is your first watch.
this is.
I think it's maybe come up perhaps on the listens. Like I said, I'm a few episodes behind, but I've listened to pretty much everything and I'm listening to them all the way through with you guys. But one of the things that The Sopranos is famous for was their characters misusing or missaying phrases or words.
Oh.
And it's the very best. And I only caught one in this episode where
Okay.
Janice and Richie are having like a meal or coffee or whatever in the hospital cafeteria. And she says like decompensate when she meant like devolve or something. But like just keep an eye out for those, because there are some
Okay.
there's like a 25-minute YouTube like supercut of like all
Montage.
of the crazy phrases where like they replace words or they get sayings completely wrong. Like that's one of my personal favorite like running jokes over the whole series. So
That's amazing.
just if you ever rewatch an episode, like you'll probably catch some.
Okay, we'll have to collect and look for those. Yeah, there's that'll be fun to spot. The thing is they say it with such conviction too, as if like
That's
you
the
really that's yeah.
funniest. It's the best.
Oh man. Speaking of things to look for, Sarah, there were gajillion pinky rings in this episode. It's just spotting them left and right.
Yeah, we're not counting pinky rings in The
No,
Sopranos
everybody.
because like almost everybody has
Oh.
one. So it
I'm creeping up on 40. One day I'll get one. One day when I feel it's appropriate to my age.
You're lucky it doesn't apply for real life people,
yeah,
just fake
it's
people
just
in
yeah,
movies,
fake
just fake
people.
characters. Yeah, you can remain good. uh okay, any other major things in this episode?
Oh no, there was a bunch. I loved
Yeah.
in the when they're figuring out what to do with Janice, because she's like okay, so in the first scene, Janice is like, you need to let Meadow be Meadow. But
Yeah.
then Janice is trying to like basically take her mom's house, and she goes back to the house and she sees the mess and she's like, why aren't you being harder on Meadow?
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, oh, she's a young girl. For every 20, ignore 19. And then she's like, why aren't you guys taking this more seriously?
Yeah, this is the one that you actually don't ignore because it affects me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because she's scheming her way through
Carmela
this.
curses her out, and then Tony's like, we got to
So
throw her
good.
out. And then Carmela's like, well, that's not very Christian. And then he says, it works out. She's a Buddhist.
Yeah, I
Like,
love that part so
It's so
much.
good.
another great one.
As she walks in, it doesn't matter. She's a Buddhist. Hey, Janice. I have to say, I love seeing Carmela assert herself. I think it's so fascinating. I think she's such an interesting character. I hope the show does more with it. Philip, I know can't say anything, but
With
there's
what?
so much in her, and she sees so much more than she lets on, I think.
Who?
And Carmela.
Okay, yes. No, I
Yeah.
mean, Carmela is, yeah, she's in the show.
Okay, perfect. Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm so fascinated by her arc. But when she does the whole apology to Janice as well, I'm like, oh, is this? She seems so genuine, and you see Janice manipulating her throughout that scene, like, oh, you're apologizing. Yeah, I was gonna apologize to you too. I was just about to come over to apologize to you as well. And Janice is taking every calculated approach and kind of taking advantage of whatever opportunity presents itself. And I'm fascinated to see between these two women, like they're playing it different. It's so interesting because the show will cut between the men scheming and backstabbing and carrying out their agendas, and then it'll cut to the women and they're playing their own version of the game. It's just as calculated. Everyone has an agenda and a goal, but it's fascinating to see the way the show's juxtaposing how different the women do their gaming it together, and how different the men do it. So I think that's always so interesting and jarring, but feels like such intentional cutting the way that will go from like Tony yelling at Richie and then Carmela and Janice doing this soft little smiles and hugs. And I'm like, yeah, everybody's
So
got a goal
good.
here too. It's the same game.
Well, just like Richie's arc in general in this episode, like constantly unhappy. He gets offered free food that sounds delicious. He's unhappy. People are giving him wads of cash. He's unhappy. He's one-on-one time in the bada bing. He seems unhappy. Like, and then he runs Beansy over the car, and he's just as happy as can be. Like, it's quite a guy.
Yep. The other piece about Carmela that I thought was really interesting in this episode is when she like blows up, I feel like we learned a little bit more about like some of her triggers, which is not being listened to. And I found that really interesting because a lot of her like complaints in that and what she's expressing kind of boiled down to being unheard, being overlooked, not being listened to. And I think that that's a really interesting piece of this. And I'm curious to see if or how the show will continue to like tease that out about Carmela and kind of what she needs and her need to be heard that is not being satisfied. So I think that was just an interesting little potential key to who Carmela is.
Mm-hmm. Also explains why the priest was such a like source of comfort for her, because he literally just sat there and listened to her, and she's so overlooked by everyone in the show, in her world, and just faithfully trying to keep this family afloat. But
Well, and Tony says it here as well, like she wants to, like she seems like, oh, like I want to get Meadow out and get this headache, and then she's like, well, yeah, then you're gonna have an empty nest, like
yeah,
like
then what?
I think in general, I don't know, it was probably part of their purview in the character, but like Carmela is not, like, she doesn't know everything. She doesn't want to know everything. But Carmela's also not in the dark about the life she signed up for
Yeah.
and the life that Tony lives. So kind of all of her issues and drama, whether it's with Meadow or with friends or with her own aspirations as different threads go throughout the series, like that's all under the umbrella of, in order to have a certain lifestyle of like luxury or whatever, she chose to be within this very fraught system that operates outside of the bounds by their own rules. And how does she relate to that?
Yeah. Yeah. How will that inform her morality about her choices, and maybe the discomfort that comes from that and the guilt that comes from that? But also, when will she also just embrace and like be no longer tossed around by the world that she's inhabiting, and assert her stance, assert her position as the wife of Tony Soprano in this world too? And you see throughout the show so many other women and other people just like kind of write her off, toss her aside. I don't want to be like Carmela though. You know, she's just sitting around at home. And I'm like, but Carmela sees all, okay? And
The
she
first
is
episode, she pulled
often,
out an AK. Like she's not just a little
Right.
church mouse.
no, not at all, not at all. So I'm very excited for her.
Yeah. We want the rise of Carmela. We don't know where the
Yes.
show is going, but we
Well,
are
we will
here for
see.
Carmela.
We will see.
See, we will see indeed. Okay, any other big things you want to mention before we give out some TVNS awards?
I think the scene in the hospital where Tony goes to visit Beansy instead of his mother, where he's there in the traction and he has that conversation with him.
Yeah, tell me your thoughts about how that scene's written or how it unfolds.
Well, just because Tony's got so much respect for the old school. Like he's letting Richie slide on everything because of the respect. And like Richie's brother used to be the boss. And Christopher's like, oh man, like we all loved your brother. And maybe he even took that as a slight because his brother wasn't. But like Richie made the choices he made. He got locked up. He was out. He was out for a decade. The world changes a lot in 10 years. So, but then, yeah, Tony realizing, okay, this guy who's a very good earner for me that has like a legitimate front business that deals with cash, this guy's an asset to me, even though he's not fully in the life. Like he's not made, he's not a relative, but the restaurant, like, cause Artie is his friend and he loves Artie, but like this guy is one of his guys that's under his umbrella. They do things, they have dealings. The cash flow is an asset to Tony. And Richie's no longer just kind of blowing off steam on people who don't matter. And Tony's like, well, yeah, he kind of doesn't matter to a degree. You can kind of you can like rough him up, but like I'm not going to say anything. Tony, because they were having that discussion, but like before the Toodaloo happened, they're like, Richie's breaking a chair and a coffee pot over this guy's face. Like, what are we going to do? And Tony and Polly were like, yeah, but he's 10 years is a lot to do. Like he's reacclimating. That's why he's committing public assault. But then Tony's looking at his friend in
Yeah.
traction, maybe never being able to walk again, going, this can't continue
Yeah.
like this for very much longer.
Yeah, the stakes are boiling, and they're about to boil over. I think that it's fascinating to see, like, Tony's big heart in a lot of ways. This is one of his guys. This is one of the people that he's taken care of, and I think
He
that's
loves
too
Richie.
far. Yeah, it's too far that Richie's taken it too far now, and
But
it begs Tony to have to respond in some way. You
well,
know?
in one of the latter scenes in the mall, he's like, "Let
Yeah.
me be clear."
Yeah.
I didn't write that one down, but that's one of like the classic lines in the series. He's like, "I'm the boss. Let me be clear about this."
I love that scene so much.
Oof, so good.
Mhm.
The other thing that I appreciated in those mall scenes is just how they're filmed and how, like, in the frame, Tony just looks huge. He is towering over
Yeah.
Richie in every single one of those scenes. And I just thought that that was so smart the way that they I mean Tony is a big guy, so like it's not hard to make him look big, but you feel how imposing his presence is. And obviously, with his words, I am the boss, I am in charge. But then also, visually, what we're seeing is him trying to like dominate the situation and be as imposing as possible. So I love the way that those were filmed because you really feel, Tony going all out to try and be intimidating and assert his own authority.
And I guess another thing watching the series now is just, man, I miss James Gandolfini.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he does an incredible job. I really love that he there's a specific, like, menacing, like, explosion of anger that he doesn't employ in, like, every episode at all. It comes in these, like, exclamation points. And when he does let all of that come to the surface, it is terrifying.
You would
Absolutely terrifying.
not want to be on the other end of that.
No. Honestly, the other scene that we see this in, is Tony exploding at Janice. Honeycombs
Sure. Yeah, I didn't know
and,
if we
like,
were going to get there yet, but yeah.
yeah, that one too. You're just like, there's a side of him that is constantly there, but man, he showed it for a second and then
And that was scarier because like he's in his bathrobe, his hair's messed up, and he's like spitting and finger in the face, like.
and
And
like
he's like, "Hey, like,
Gandolfini's
are
got
we
like
done? Like, are the
guys
gloves off
both.
right now?" And then you're almost like, nope, let's go back to being suggestive about our things." Like,
Yep. Yep.
oof.
What I love about that scene though is in the background, he's literally exploding, terrifying. I'm scared as an audience member. Carmela in the background, unfazed.
Well, and AJ's
Unfazed.
like, "Can you guys shut up? I'm watching TV."
Like, it's just another day in the life for Kamala. She's like, all right, let's get you out of here now. Like, just there he goes again. But as an audience member, I haven't seen that side of him very often over the course of the show, maybe 2 or 3 times in season 1. But I'm like, oh my God. What else is he going to throw? It's terrifying. Because it's unpredictable. He's sitting there eating his
Oh,
cereal all of a sudden.
okay, that was another one. Like, I love Jim. Like, I love the man, James Gandolfini. But I also like, I feel he was a person who never got shown how to live life well. And he's trying to make it in America. That's like a
Mhm.
system where the guy who screws over the most people wins. But like, it almost broke my heart. Like, it was funny, but then like, it didn't quite bring me to tears. But then like, I had
Yeah.
a strong emotional reaction. He's just sitting there reading the back of a cereal box
Yeah.
genuinely.
Yeah.
He's a big little guy who
Yeah.
never got shown how to live his life.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. There's something like childlike about him, and I think that scene, the flashback scene from season 1, where we get to see small little baby Tony and seeing Livia in her younger years trying to survive as a mother, like exploding at him with the same unpredictability, with the same violence, with the same menacing, like, emotion.
And
And
right
that was
after,
normal for
yeah.
him, and so many of his explosions look and mirror that. And so I think that one flashback scene back to Tony's childhood just, like,
And that was
Constantly.
right after Olivia basically convinced his father to not go straight, also, which had a strong impact on Tony's life.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, he's just a big little guy trying to keep it all
He was
together.
sitting there eating honeycombs, like, doing the puzzle on the
Right?
back of the box, like, you
He
just
was
wanna
so
give him a big
engrossed.
hug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. Okay. Any last things before TBS awards? Should we give them out?
Let's do it.
All right. So, most family oriented is our first category. Philip, as our guest, which character are you giving this award to today?
I mean, maybe there's a few others I feel like it's gotta be Meadow.
Yeah, that onion.
I was very, very fond of her when I first and I still am, I guess, still age appropriate, like, now currently. I was a big fan of Meadow back in the day, but just seeing her, like, the party wasn't fully her fault, but then at the end, she's there trying to make it right. She's precious. I love Meadow.
Mm-hmm. I love it
Her
too.
and AJ's podcast now is also very fun to listen to.
Oh, yeah. I love that Meadows is saying in the beginning of the episode, it wasn't my fault though. And then you hear Tony say the same thing later. And I thought that was so funny to see that because he's giving her crap for saying, it's never your fault. And then he's saying the
It's
same
like if I
thing.
had a whatever, I'd have a private jet. Also, how much was a private jet in the 90s? I'd be curious. Probably a lot less.
Yeah. Sarah, what is your choice for most family oriented?
Okay, so my pick was also Meadow, but I'm going to go with my runner up, which
Okay.
is Tony for reading the honeycomb box while eating his cereal. And that's just so wonderful and
Sweet boy,
heartwarming.
Tony.
Yeah. Sweet little baby Tony.
Yeah.
My award is also going to go to Tony, and it's capital F family, and it's Tony looking out for Beansy. Yeah, looking out for his people. We'll see what he does next. You know, how's he gonna clap back at Richie? We will see. All right, most explosive moment. Lots of good candidates for this one. Philip, what's your choice?
There were a few. I mean, you already mentioned the one, and if one of you guys want to hit that, I'll let you break down that scene a little bit more. But I also loved Meadow when it was like the second time they were talking about it. She said, "It's not my fault. How many effing times do I need to say it?" Like to her parents.
You're like,
And
yay.
and I can't tell you how many times I both heard and perhaps said, like, "Hey," like when you kind of cross the line or when your kids cross the line. Like, I can't not say it. Like in the last month, when my kids have maybe gone a little too far, like that is like from my soul. I
So
can't not respond that way. Hey, like that's a part of my DNA. But just Meadow having enough because it actually wasn't her fault.
so good.
But
Yeah,
like
I love
standing up to her dad, who's both her dad and the kingpin of New Jersey, saying like cursing him out, saying, "I've had enough."
it. Oh my gosh. Well, there's an interesting line that she says to Hunter when they're making their super chaotic
With half a stick of butter.
Yeah.
Yikes. For a grilled cheese
I was
sandwich.
I was so stressed during that scene. I was like, why are you destroying this kitchen? This is not necessary, you children.
But she says too, she's like, listen, if my dad can do the things that he can do, what's wrong with me throwing a little party? And you're like, it has begun. It has begun. Sarah, what is your choice for most explosive moment?
I gotta give this to when Richie uses the coffee pot to assault Beansy in the middle of the restaurant.
Yeah.
After he offered him a sandwich.
Right, which sounded great. It sounded delicious.
I'll take a
Beansy,
veal sandwich right now.
I would take
And I
that.
ate like 2 hours ago.
But what I loved about that moment is like you're watching it and things are getting heated and you can see the wheels in Richie's brain start to turn. And then you see the coffee pot in the corner of the screen and you go, "Oh no. Something bad is about to happen."
Yeah.
And then it does. So I loved the build up to that explosive moment and that this is basically our introduction to Richie. It was great.
He's terrifying. He's terrifying. And David Raval does an amazing job of doing this like twitch thing in his eyes where you're just like, he is about to explode. It's incredible. terrifying, honestly, quite terrifying. My choice for most explosive moment, we mentioned it earlier, but it's honeycombs going flying, Tony exploding. I think the like shock and unpredictability of it just I think I flinched while watching that.
Because
It's like,
Tony
oh,
also has Richie on the back of his mind, and then Janice is
right?
giving him crap about his kid after saying, there is a Zuni proverb. Like, he just
Mm-hmm.
had enough.
Had enough. Had enough. So that whole thing goes flying at the wall. There's a really great like reverse shot where you just see all of the little honeycombs like strewn across the kitchen. I'm like, poor Carmela, you know that's going to be her job later. Sweet, faithful Carmela. Double meaning dialogue. I mean, basically the entire script of the show is a candidate for double meaning dialogue. But Philip, what is your choice for this one from the episode?
I mean, with this being the premiere of Richie, I went with Junior and Richie in the doctor's office when he was saying about how unhappy he is. He mentions Tony, and then also something that I just can't not have as a part. I probably say it every day. The Junior says, "Oh, what are you gonna do?" Richie like locks eyes with him, and he says, "Whatever you tell me to do." And he's like,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I just got chills now thinking about that.
And you see Junior just like heart
And
exploding.
you see him like,
Mhm.
because Junior,
He's down and out.
Junior's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of love Junior in a way, but he's just such a
Such a dweeb.
like the pride and the hubris and just the
Mhm.
not. It sounds bad. I know this will sound bad, but I'm going to say it. Just like
Let's do it.
not knowing your place. I think almost in a right way. Like
Mhm.
you can be a great second or third in command,
Yes.
but if you're a great second or third and you try to be the boss,
Nope.
you're gonna have problems.
Mhm.
Junior was not cut out for that role,
Nope.
and he felt like it was owed him. It wasn't owed him. Tony gave him the perception of it as
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
gift, but Junior's like, no, this is what I'm owed, and we'll see what happens.
He's just a silly little man. I love it in the previous episode where they're at the eye doctor and they're sitting in the waiting room and Junior turns to Bobby and he's like, should I get new frames? I feel like I watched my TV footage and I don't know, should I not like how I look? Like, should I? It was not a good look. I did not look the best. And you're just like, this man cares so much about what people think about him. Like, he just wants to be a star.
He also should just be an old man.
Right.
Take your percentage. Like
Mhm.
everything's
Yeah.
paid for. What in the 90s? Like what was you own
Yeah.
your house, you own your car? Like you're
Right?
getting a good chunk of illegal funds. Like be happy, guy. Like
Yeah. You don't need all this headache
yeah.
and stress and
What are you
stuff.
trying
Just
to
go
like
live
go to
your
war in
life.
the streets as like a senior citizen? What are you doing?
It's not the move, my dude.
Nope. Nope.
Hubris.
Hubris
We'll
a
see.
man. Gosh, we love to see it. We love to see the downfall of it every time. It's so satisfying. Sarah, what is your choice for double meaning dialogue?
I mean, I got to give it to our girl Livia, who says
Every
to
time.
Janice, your father has friends with class, unlike some people. It's so good.
Ah. Olivia terrifies me.
No, she's the worst, but I do love her.
Yeah.
Great character. I mean, you guys saw all of season 1.
Yeah.
Oh, she is awful. She is a very terrible person. I am highly entertained.
I just want to
Having
see
a
what
great
she's
time.
cooking up every time. Like, I'm just
Yes.
like, what does this woman have up her sleeve? So entertained.
That smile at the end of season 1. Oof.
Oh, yeah. Terrifying. Terrifying.
Jen, what about you?
I went with Junior to Richie at the doctor's office. You and your brother were always good boys after Richie's pledged his willingness to whack Tony, essentially. All right. Well, looking ahead, Sarah, maybe you can go first. What are you excited to see? I can share it, and then Philip, what are you excited for us to see for some juicy plot points and character moments looking ahead into the rest of the season? So, Sarah, do you want to share first?
Yeah, I think I'm particularly interested in this Richie Janice connection because they're both such agents of chaos separately in their own separate spheres, just wreaking havoc wherever they go. And so the fact that they have some sort of connection and relationship is very interesting to me. And I
Yeah,
think
how's your sister line?
right? It can create like maximum chaos. So I'm intrigued by that. I also think that this episode ends on such a great like cliffhanger moment for Tony in what we were talking about, him, how is he going to respond to Richie, because they can't keep going this way. Richie has been in here for one episode and he's already created so much chaos. Tony has to do something. What is he going to do? And then I'm always looking forward to some more Livia moments. She is cooking in that hospital bed, and I just can't wait to see what she schemes up next.
I love that she like cannot ask for help, but is like struggling to use the remote to get her bed to sit up again. Like that's just such a stubborn old person thing to do. Be like, no, I got it. Don't no. So good. So good. I'm excited to see the Carmela arc. I'm just so fascinated. I want the rise of Carmela. There's so much brewing there. I think it's going to be a slow burn though. So I'm just always looking out to see what they do with her character. I'm fascinated to see this new alliance between Junior and Richie. I think it all of a sudden gives Junior so many more possibilities. He was kind of on the downhill with his reign, but he's got a new opportunity now. How will he use it? Richie's terrible. He's the worst, but I also love that he just has conviction and is just like barreling through this world that is known for having such delicate relationships, and everything's like perfectly in balance, between Junior and Tony. They've worked out this thing that is temporarily fine for now, but it feels like Richie's just coming in with this like wrecking ball and this house of cards, and there's gonna be a lot of casualties because he's just kind of unafraid to follow any of the rules and just bulldozing through everything. So how will every character react, and how will characters find new opportunities for themselves? I think it's gonna be interesting. I think there's unrest with the capos within Tony's crew. So I don't know. There's something there too with like Salvatore and him defecting. That just there seems that the sense of stability that seems to be had is not so stable, I think. And so I'm intrigued to see how it all crumbles, falls, and what choices characters make. Philip, what about you? What are you excited for us to continue
so
on this
much.
journey? I know.
So obviously this is the last episode you've seen. Have you guys looked at anything as to what's to come? Okay.
Nope, nothing.
Episode synopsis. Okay, then I'll say a couple things. One, obviously, the big one for this season, for as ever long as it lasts, is the saga of Richie Aprile and kind of following the drama of how that particular arc unfolds. I'll be eager for that. And then two other little things. One, if I'm able to make it schedule wise, the next episode I talked about us coming on, there was a line, and this didn't stick out to me on my most recent rewatch, but looking at the episodes I talked about maybe coming on, when Meadow and Hunter, it was Hunter, right? In the car at the beginning from the party, or is that a different friend?
I think
I just feel like Hunter is the friend.
Yeah, her bestie.
Meadow and her friend in the car, and Tony says like, "Oh, you're lucky. He called me first." And he says, "What? Does he owe you money?" There's some really interesting things along that line in the future, I believe, in this season, perhaps on my next upcoming episode that shakes out in a very interesting way. And then you also mentioned Bobby. I love Bobby Bacala.
I love Bobby.
Him. I don't want to say too much.
Okay.
His path.
Yeah.
His unique path. Because he starts out in one place and just kind of what happens with him going forward, he becomes a character that I really do love.
Oh, yes. We love an underdog, I think. The rise of an underdog, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Bobby, but I'll say this without spoiling. Bobby is a character who knows his place. So, yes. But the things he does, like, I really do like Bobby. And he's not like a favorite or anything, but like he's like a circle. He's like a big round cartoon man. He's kind of a goof, but also like he's loyal and he's got the principles. Like, he's a character who I really do like.
I love that he said he knows his place because he's got feelings, but he knows when and who and how he can share them or not share them and shut that F up when he needs to, which is great. Very cool to see.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to spoil anything, but I'd almost say, like, I've seen them on YouTube. There's a couple of episodes that for various reasons I'd be like, you guys should like record yourselves and like share your live reactions to certain things. That could be fun social content. But also, if you're like, if I'm like, film this episode, you'd be like, well, what's coming? So who knows? But that could be.
Okay.
I personally love, or like the videos when like kids
Ooh.
see Empire Strikes Back for the first time and the parents get their reaction. Like,
Oh,
there are
yes.
some moments in the series that if you're going to cover the whole series, that might be fun to
Oh, that's a good idea.
get your live reactions.
Okay. We'll have to tap you for if we can figure out how to do that.
Without,
Which
like,
one?
if
Yeah.
you're not recording it all the time, you're like, well, why this one? So then, like, that could almost maybe even impede the process, and I wouldn't want to spoil or dampen the viewings for you.
But honestly, every episode of Sopranos, I'm like, oh my God.
That's true.
So much happens. That's shocking every time, you know? So
And that's the other great thing about this being an HBO show and the way it affected television. Like, I don't just say I think it's one of the best shows because I'm an Italian and I love the creative team. Like,
yeah.
this really changed the game. Like, it's not quite as, like, The Wire even took it a step further. But
Yes.
stuff in The Sopranos seasons 1, 2, and 3 sometimes takes years to like fully, like, you have to pay attention, you have to go with it. But like, sometimes in season 5 and 6, things will go back to like what's happening now. So like, it's really kind of like novelistic television. So to your point, like, you maybe could, because stuff can happen at any time. Like, obviously the 6 or 7 season finales, like, big things do happen, but it's not like those are the only episodes where big things happen.
Exactly.
Like,
Which is
people
really
can die in
satisfying.
any episode, or
Yeah.
power dynamics can shift, or new agents of chaos. This is episode 3. This isn't episode 1. Richie
Right.
didn't come in
Right?
season 2, episode 1. Came in season 2, episode 3. Like, we don't know.
Yep.
I remember
Anything can
watching
happen.
the first 3 episodes or few episodes of season 1, and like every episode someone's dying. You know, there's
That
like a
is
whole
true.
section in like episode summary that's like, who's deceased in this episode? So good. All right. Well, this is our review and discussion of season 2, episode 3 of The Sopranos. You can find available to watch on HBO Max. Thank you for listening to today's episode of TVNS. Big thank you to Philip for joining, yapping together with us about this 3rd episode. It was so fun, and we can't wait for more. Where can people find more of you on the internet?
Regular-ish podcasting over at The Substance. My name, I don't know which side it's on. It is a semi-regular. It was weekly, then it was bi-weekly. Now it's, because I'm doing so many things, it's as often as I can, but not irregularly. Things are, The Substance is our brand. Like, what is good, true, and beautiful. We cover a lot of film, with the state of the world, trying to have some like good people who are doing socio-political things of value, have faith leaders, have academics, have all sorts of folks on. We cover a lot of film with our substantive cinemas. Those are very fun. And if this is in February, I'll say like Midwest-ish, I think. I'm a producer on a movie that's showing in theaters. I think we're going to be doing like the Midwest or the East Coast, perhaps. Age group winner. It's a documentary about a marathon runner. And yeah, guesting on a lot of shows. Follow me at either The Substance or just Philip Marinello. I've been guesting a lot lately and talking to some real cool people about a variety of things. Yeah, awesome. Philip's always doing so much within the podcasting world, but even outside the podcasting world, just in the film industry and in media and in writing and many different art forms. Philip's always been his ear to the ground on a lot of that stuff. So we will include links to that in the show notes, where to follow more of Philip, the Substance Pod, all of his guesting appearances, and other many projects that he's working on that are always very exciting. So our name, movies, TV and Us. Oh my gosh, let me redo that.
Our name, TVNS, sums it up. We're big fans of TV and the powerful ways we can connect with each other and the world around us. This podcast is about all of us and our shared stories, so everyone is welcome here, and we're so glad you spent time with us today as we continue our very exciting journey through Sopranos Season 2. You can subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you tune into your favorite shows. Drop us a rating and review, letting us know your favorite moments from this very juicy episode. You can connect with us on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at TVNSPod, or email us at tvnspod@gmail.com. Check out our website, andusmedia.co, for the latest on TVNS and our other podcast, Movies and Us. We're also part of the Movie Archer podcast network, so you can check out and learn more at moviearcher.com. We'll be back soon to discuss episode 4. Lots of story to be told in the world of Sopranos, so we can't wait for more. We hope you have an amazing week, and I'll talk again with y'all very soon.